Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 22, and today we're going to be here in Assen with Aleix Espargaro. Of course, we all seen the heroics from the Spaniard a few days ago in Assen, and I wanted to replicate something or do something very similar to what Aleix did here today. Now, unfortunately, the best I can do in the sense of making this game difficult is to start from the back of the grid and only use power setting 1. Now, unfortunately, even if you do use power setting 1, as you can see, the AI just doesn't offer enough of a fight. But we are going to try and overtake every single rider as soon as possible and then start churning out those fast, well, hopefully fast lap times of a 132, maybe even a 131. But to the right hand side now, and for the Wienschlein, can we get it past Alex Rins? Not yet into the Russian hook, but I do like a good move going into that particular corner, so hopefully we can make one stick within that corner. But we did give Alex Rins a bit of a budge going into Steckenval, and I'm going to try using the ride height device in this race, maybe once or twice, but honestly, I kind of go without it. I don't really particularly like using it. The part that triggers me is when the ride height device deactivates and the bike lifts up ever so slightly. I always get the impression that I'm doing a stoppie, so it kind of puts me off under braking, so I try to avoid turning it on, if I'm quite honest with you. But now into turn 12, the corner I can never seem to pronounce. We'll try and pursue Alex Marquez. Of course, Alex Marquez revitalised after signing with Gresini Ducati for next season. Of course, in the video game, I think he's had a bit of a boost, but in real life, didn't really seem to make much difference over the weekend. But we've now passed Alex Marquez, and across the line to start the second lap, we are now up into 6th position already. And there's another overtake for you, right on cue, as Jorge Martin is next on the hit list for Aleix Espargaro. We got really close to the Martinator there to the left-hand side, but into Magic for turn 2, and now to the right-hand side. I wanted to go for that title line, but I knew Martin would be holding it, so we'll try and get him into Struben into turn 5. So into left-hand side now for Struben for turn 5. Do we make the lunge? Oh, look at that. Beautifully positioned. Fabio Quartararo, please take notes. So if you aren't sure on why I say that, it's because based at the Dutch GP at the weekend here in Assen, Fabio Quartararo launched a lunge up into the inside of Aleix Espargaro into turn 5 and caused himself not only to crash, but almost ruin Aleix Espargaro's race. And you still could argue that Aleix Espargaro's race was ruined, because although he came back from dead last to 4th position, he really did have the pace to win this one, unless it's a case of he already knew it was over, not much he could do, let's just charge down as many positions as we possibly can and take damage limitations. And I think there is a part of that, because when you're racing at your highest level and you think, you know what, maybe I could push a little bit more, you will have that sort of feeling of doubt just because you don't want to ruin it. But when the race is already ruined, you'll just go full on gung-ho, and I thought we've seen that from Aleix Espargaro. But to the left-hand side now from Ramschuk, we've got Marquez and Quartararo. Can we get the double braking? Oh, for the inside, going into the final corner for the Timmer chicane. Brilliantly done into the GT corner. Aleix Espargaro up into the lead, getting caught in the rumble strip somewhat, and across the line to 132.966. So our first lap of the 132s in this particular Grand Prix, as we now enter Harbach for a 1 second advantage to Marquez and Quartararo behind. Goodness me. But I really wanted to get that double overtake here into the GT chicane, and I believe we just did that right on cue just a moment ago. But my biggest fear now is that, yes, the AI is not going to offer us any more of a fight right now. We have the soft option front and the medium rear, so I do believe the tyres will go off before the end of this Grand Prix. So things could get rather interesting later on, and I do know the AI in MotoGP 22 at 120% maximum difficulty setting do get a little bit stronger towards the end of the Grand Prix, so maybe that 1 second advantage that we have right now is yet to be safe. But we'll find out as this race progresses. But we now go into the left-hand side for De Bolt. Very innocuous corner. It can be really easy to get right, but sometimes if you brake a little bit too hard on the left-hand side of the tyre, you will go down in a great big ball of fire. Very difficult corner to get right, and also a very difficult corner to not crash at, but also at the same time a corner you don't want to crash at, because that is very fast going into De Bolt. But now into the Hoogheid for turn 13, now in for 14 for the nice and tight apex into Ramschuk, bringing on the power ever so slowly. We're going to hit the brakes nice and early there, bring it into the right hand side, bring it into the left hand side, beautifully done, and across the line our lap time will be a 131.964, so into the 131s for the first time this GP. But the soft option front and both the medium rear seem to have wore away roughly around the same speed, so degradation, of course, is a thing we have to be a little bit concerned about in this one. Not too much to really think we have to start conserving ourselves, but I do believe towards the end of the Grand Prix the tyres will begin to get a little bit slippery, so just have to pay attention to that one and maybe consider changing the traction control as we go. Now, of course, with the TCS I always leave it at 1 or 2. Found the Aprilia works nicely with TCS 2, and of course the anti-wheelie for me always stays at number 2 anyway. But to the left for Russian Hook, still up by a country mile, 2.5 seconds. It is against the injured Marc Marquez. Of course, won't be featured back in MotoGP till the end of the year, or maybe not even till Qatar next season. But I do believe Qatar is not going to be the opening GP for the next season, so who knows where Marquez will be returning. Well, now into Mandevin, we are now neck and neck with the lap from a previous lap time ago. So the 1:31.964 could be bettered by a few milliseconds. So we'll find out as we go in now into turn 14 and then 15. And let's see if we can beat that, as Marquez has actually just lost the position to Quartararo. But on the brakes we'll go for Aleix Espargaro, running it a little bit deep. Not really how I like to get that one, but to the right hand side after turn 18. We aren't going to improve, but it's still a very solid 1:32.172. Now, jumping back to the actual GP from a couple of days ago, Maverick Vinales on board the Aprilia RSGP found himself on the podium, and probably for me, I think he would have been on the podium the week before in the German GP of the Sachsenring, because he was flying until his ride-out device decided to call it an early night. And here in the Dutch GP, everything went well. Maverick Vinales found himself on the podium. A difference a year makes. Both GPs, both with podiums, one with Yamaha, one with misery, one with Aprilia, one with joy and absolute elation. So it was great to see Maverick Vinales on board the Aprilia, back here in the fight, fighting for great positions. It's what we need to see, and it's good to see Maverick Vinales smiling again. And of course the excellent performance from Pecco Bagnaia and Marco Bezzecchi. They were absolutely stunning. Now, Marco Bezzecchi, for me, I said at the beginning of the year that I think he'd be the Rookie of the Year because I think he's great and only needs a good bike, and that's it. He's going to be fighting for the best race positions you can possibly believe, and he's certainly doing it right now. Yes, you could say the favourites going in were Remy Gardner and Raul Fernandez, but they are on much inferior hardware. The KTM RC16 doesn't seem to be the bike to be on right now, and I don't think it ever has been the bike to be on, but we will see in the future what Raul and Remy can do. But for the time being, getting back to the Grand Prix, because we are starting the penultimate lap of this Dutch GP with Aleix Espargaro 2.4 seconds up the road from the Frenchman, who's just found himself getting a long lap penalty in the GP of Silverstone, for my home GP, for the British GP in Silverstone in 5 weeks' time. Can you believe it though? Taka Nakagami took out Pecco and Alex Rins. Alex Rins lost time. Alex Rins was damaged, heavily damaged actually, on his left wrist. Pecco Bagnaia lost massive points in the championship. Taka Nakagami injured himself, and there was still no penalty given. Even after the week before, Taka Nakagami having trouble with Alex Rins in Mugello. Fabio Quartararo makes the only mistake of his season this year, and gets himself a long lap penalty for taking out Aleix Espargaro. Now, I do agree it was an audacious lunge, but that's how Fabio has to ride to make overtakes, because he suffers so much from losing time on the straights. But it was an aggressive move. It cost him 25 crucial points for the World Championship, and Aleix Espargaro cost even him points for his championship charge. And of course, I do believe Aleix Espargaro would have won that race without that contact, so it is absolutely massive for the championship when you think of it like that. But does Fabio Quartararo deserve a long lap penalty for that one? I'm not entirely sure. But all I know is that no matter what, Fabio can start from pole, start from the front row, the second row, wherever it may be in Silverstone, and I'm pretty confident that he'll still have a chance of victory, even after doing a long lap penalty. But we'll find out in 5 weeks' time, I guess. But before then, I will be at the World Superbike event for Donington Park and the British Superbike event of Brands Hatch in just a couple of weeks' time. Of course, I will be making some videos on it and discussing where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing, so stick around for that for now. But on to the final lap. We are 0.2 of a second, or we were 0.2 of a second coming out of Strubben, quicker than the best lap time from earlier on, but my lap times in this one have been very, very consistent. Very close to the 131s, but consistently within the 132s. Give or take a couple of tenths, that's all we've deviated by. And that is good, solid progress. I'm really enjoying my time with MotoGP 22, and I'm pleased that I can be competitive and also very, very consistent. I had jumped onto Ride 4 a couple of days ago, so expect a video very, very soon. And I must confess my pace was pretty good on that one as well, so I'm good to see I'm sticking consistent and fast in both games. But into the right hand side for turn 12, we only have 3 more corners, or actually a couple more corners depending how you class the chicane. But into the Hoogerheim for 13, 14 now for that very tight king, 15 for Ramschuk, and then of course the 3 more for the Geert Timmer chicane, or the Gert Timmer chicane. I think I pronounced that wrong, but to the right hand side we'll go. Into the left, oh, got caught up there a little bit, tried to tip the bike in, but it wasn't having it. But across the line, Aleix Espargaro wins here in the Dutch GP of Assen, and that is another DrAce video. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. If you really enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for a lot more content just like this. But upon that note guys, thanks for watching and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.